Welcome to the Kidmin Huddle with Amber Pike, where children's ministry leaders get equipped, encouraged, and empowered to disciple with intentionality, growing God's kingdom one child at a time.
Welcome back to the Kidmin Huddle. Today we are talking about one of my most favorite things, Vacation Bible School. This year I am doing Emerald Crossing, Answers in Genesis. If you're listening to this in 2026, I've started on props. We're talking about what can help make your VBS one of the best ones yet. And yes, props, costumes, decor, yes, you need all of that. But those aren't the things that I'm talking about. Obviously, you need a good, meaty curriculum. You need to be actually using your time well, to be discipling. But I've got 10 tips for you to make VBS your best yet, outside of those things that are just standard that don't need to be in the podcast, right? Just to remind you of the importance of VBS, the Barna Group says that about 75% of people come to Christ before the age of 13. VBS ages are up to 13. So you have an amazing opportunity with your Vacation Bible School. You will get families that will drop kids off to VBS that maybe aren't churched because they're viewing it as free babysitting, free entertainment for their kids. That's not what it is, but we will take it, right? You have more discipleship hours in a week of VBS than you do in 5 to 7 months worth of Sundays. Right? If you're doing a 5-day, 3-hour VBS, 20 hours, 20 discipleship hours in a row, that's huge. The impact of VBS is huge, and you don't want to waste a moment of it. So, quality VBS program aside, make sure you have that it is teaching the Bible, that it is growing kids, it's not fluff and filler. Here are 10 tips to help make your VBS the best yet. Number 1, be a little silly. I go full out for VBS. I run around in crazy colored hair and tutus and wigs and capes and do all the silliness. Why? Well, one, it's fun, but it breaks down some walls with kids. When they see you being silly, it gives them permission to be silly. It makes it fun, and VBS should be fun. It should be one of the most fun weeks of a kid's year. So it's okay. Be a little silly. We are balancing that silly with all of the wonderful stuff that we're doing, that deep, that meatiness, all of that. Yes. Number 2, use kids' names. One of my core what made Amber memories is from the year that I was old enough to serve as a teacher at VBS. I actually, if you've read Intentional Children's Ministry, you will see a picture of that week. It was the same time I was called into the ministry. And I remember I had the littles. We had 3s and 4s. We did 3s at VBS, which was crazy. And the teacher that I was co-teaching with, she was like retired teacher aide, like all this, and she couldn't remember their names. And I remember seeing these little precious faces fall every time she would call them the wrong name. It is a felt need for kids. If you don't know what that is, it's not just a want or a desire. It's something deeply ingrained in them that they legitimately need. They need their names being used. They need to be known, seen, and loved. Man, you got no clue how a child might be hurting. You might not know what they're going through at home, but when you use their name, it can make the world of difference. Get to know their names, use their names. Number 3, chat with your fellow workers later. This is a VBS pet peeve of mine. Yes, we should love our church family. We should want to hang out with our church family, but VBS time is a discipleship time. It is not a catch up with our workers, friends time. So if it is snack time, what should you be doing? Not hanging out in the kitchen with the fellow workers. That is not time for you to catch up on all the gossip with your friends or whatever. Don't do it. Go invest time with those kids, build relationships with those kids. Talk to your church friends later. Whenever there is downtime, you shouldn't be just chatting with friends. Use that time to pour into those kids relationally. Just, yes, don't go hide in the kitchen. Don't go be only with the workers. Be present with the kids that you have, your group, your class, whatever it is. Pour into those kids because it is a discipleship opportunity. Number 4, Remember that those wild or a little harder to love kids often need more love than you realize. We don't know what a kid is going through. And I could look back over 25 plus years of ministry, and I could see that those kids who were my problem kids, the ones who were trying all of my patience, the ones who I worked at loving, they needed it the most. Keep that in mind and let that influence your reactions and your comments. A little bit of love, a little extra love could make the world of difference for this child. A punishment, being fussed at, being left out, those things they're not wrong, but they're not the best for the kid. So I really encourage get to know the kid. React out of the knowledge that kid might be going through something. They might need extra love, extra grace, extra hugs. This takes getting to know your kids in a VBS environment. Maybe it's the first time you've seen those kids. It's a little bit harder. Maybe just operate with the rule of thumb. I don't know what these kids are going through. So Miss Amber's just going to be extra loving. Keep that in mind. I promise more often than not, it's going to ring true. Number 5, take your vitamins, drink your water, and stretch. If you are like me and I'm nearing 40, not there yet, I struggle health-wise during the summer. Between camp and VBS, I'm often very, very sick. I went through a phase when I was full-time church staff. We did camp in June, VBS in July, and I would always get sick from the pool at camp and all the children. Really, I've moved to team no camp pools because I always get sick. And so I would get sick at camp, come home, be fighting some horrible, COVID, cold, sinus infection, whatever, for a couple weeks, usually end up needing antibiotic because it just won't go away. So then I'm already going into VBS really tired. I mean, I would serve VBS some years. I remember when my body just kept having reactions to antibiotics and I couldn't hold food down, and I'm like drinking a smoothie and that's all that I can hold down. And they're like, Amber, you need to eat. I'm like, I can't eat. I will be sick. No throat, don't do that. You're around a lot of kids, you're around a lot of germs. Really make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can be at full steam. So take your vitamins, wash your hands, drink your water, get rest, stretch. I'm still dealing with a knee injury from VBS decorating a couple years ago. We're not as young as we used to be. And I don't care if you were like 21 and listening to this, you're not as young as you used to be. So take your vitamins, drink your water, sleep good, and stretch. Trust me on this one. Number 6. Dead time should be used with intentionality. So think about the times that kids are done with snack and they're sitting there, or they finish their craft in like 2 minutes and they have the rest of class, or they don't want to play in the sun running at recreation, right? There's always those girls who don't want to do recreation. I'm stereotyping, but it usually is, there's girls that don't want to do rec. Use that time. This is a great time for getting to know you things. You can make a list of questions. I have a question game that I've made, and I have like a laminated cheat sheet, just getting to know you questions that can be fun or silly, some a little bit deeper. You can just talk about stuff. You don't want it to seem like you're grilling them. So maybe like silly things like, would you rather only eat cotton candy or only eat peanut butter sandwiches for the rest of your life? It can be silly, right? You're breaking down barriers. You take a turn answering these things as well. Like, would you eat a pickled donut? I just saw a picture of a pickled donut. I love donuts. I love pickles. Do not put them together. I think that's gross. Get to know them. Break down some barriers. You are showing them that they matter by spending your time talking to them. That can make an eternal difference for a kid. You are pouring out the love of Jesus just by talking to these kids and letting them feel and know that Jesus loves them. So that downtime is perfect for relationship building. You could, depending on how you're set up, I would do this at camp, probably not the way that I set up VBS, but maybe yours looks different. We would play Spot It. So if we had dead time, if we were like waiting for the chapel doors to open at camp, we would pull out Spot It. And how it usually went is I would pick out the kid who's not really engaged with the other kids, and we would play Spot It. So it used to be my kid, and he wasn't really hanging out with the other kids. And I'm like, hey, Reed, let's play Spot It. And then we'd play around a Spot It, and then everybody's like, I like Spot It. So then they would want to play, and I would slip back, and then they had new friends for the week. Worked every time. So you could be helping to build relationship with other kids, with you. It's also a great time for memory verse practice. We do this when snack time is, when you're done eating your snack, can you go practice the memory verse to the memory verse lady and get a piece of candy? Excellent way to intentionally use that dead time. Number 7, yes, VBS is for discipling the kids, but you need to make sure that you're connecting with parents too. Mom and dad, number 1 influences on a child's life, primary disciple makers. How are you using VBS to springboard for that command? How are you equipping your VBS parents to go home and disciple after VBS? What about these new parents that came for whatever reason to your VBS? Have you connected with them? Are you inviting them back? Are you helping them to understand their calling of disciple maker and equipping them to do so? VBS is an amazing opportunity, so make sure that you're connecting with parents. I'll give you an extra little tip within this tip. Had this family that had came for VBS for years. They had just kind of a wide range of kids. They had their own bio kids who were older, and then some adopted kids, and there was a big age gap. So Big Sis was out of VBS age range. They came one year, hadn't seen her for a couple years, honestly, with little sisses. Drop her off. Now, because names are so important to me, I really, really work on names with kids. I'm really bad with adult names. Adults, if you know me and I see you at the grocery store, there's a chance I don't remember your name and I'm just pretending like I know your name. But I'm good with kids' names. It's funny. It's weird. Some of you might identify with that. And so I'm like, hey, girl's name. I use her name. How's it going? Whatever. Just a simple, I recognize you. Haven't seen you for a while. I use your name. And mom messages me after drop off. She's like, you have no idea what that meant to me and to her. Her girl's going through some stuff. But someone who had served at VBS for years remembered her. That mama, that was a big win. Sometimes moms and dads need to know that their kids are loved by somebody. And that's a huge connection piece. So I can't overemphasize the importance of connection. Connect with those parents. Those parents, like some of those hard to love kids, might be going through some things too. Connect with parents. Try, if you're the VBS leader in charge, try to free yourself up either morning or, before drop off or at the end of closing to where you can connect with parents. Those simple, loved having Caden here today. Man, Joseph was so funny. He did this during this. If you are floating, so that's my role in VBS is I'm floating. I'm walking around. I visit the kids. I take pictures. I'll pop in. We had some really squirrely kids. So I tried to make sure I was there at science time because my husband was teaching and he is newer at teaching. He thinks he's not good, but he is good. But he doesn't understand really how to crowd control yet. So I would try to pop in at science time and I would get some of the squirrelies on my lap and pop around, visit, hop in. I would go, jump in and help do a craft. If you're doing that, you're seeing a lot of kids and you're able to connect with some of those parents. This isn't just a target. Well, this family doesn't go here, so I'm going to make sure we become besties so that you can join our church. No, connect with all of them, love on all of them. Over time, you have no idea how those relationships can grow, can change. Or quite frankly, you just might be a wonderful influence to a family that never comes to your church. Maybe they are going to listen to what you say when you're talking about their calling at the VBS closing ceremony because you've connected with them. Yes, do it. Okay, number 8. Kids model what they see, so be all in for VBS. It makes my heart sad when I see VBS leaders during ceremony time who are just sitting in the pew. You should be dressed up in whatever silliness is happening that day. You should be doing the silly games. You should be engaging in all of the things. Do the dances, even if you struggle like me to dance. Do it. Yes. Obviously, there are physical limitations. So when I have the kids jumping to say the memory verse, I'm not actually jumping on my bad knee. I'm just kind of bouncing. That's okay. Why does this matter? For your older kids especially, they are fighting with that too cool for school mentality. But when they see an adult or an older teen doing it, it instantly becomes a little cooler. It shows them, hey, this is what we're doing, and you should do it too. Hey, this is fun. You should do it too. Teen boys are the secret sauce for this. If a preteen guy sees a teen boy doing the dances, guess what? It's way cool to do the dances. So get teens on stage as much as possible. Help them with the games, the ceremonies. If you do the dramas, the worship, yes, they are modeling what they see. So they need to see you engaged. And the flip side is true too. If they see a bunch of leaders who are just sitting in the pews looking kind of miserable, guess what those squirrely, lots of hormone preteens are doing? Also sitting, being really squirrely. If they see the leaders just talking to each other instead of paying attention during ceremonies or Bible study or whatever, guess what these kids are doing too? The exact same thing. They're modeling what they see. So be all in during VBS. Number 9, give smiles, hugs, and high fives freely. I think one of the best things that we can do at Vacation Bible School is show the love of Jesus. You do not know a home situation for kids. You might be the only one to tell that child that week that you love them. Obviously, we are practicing safe policies, safe touching. We are making sure that we've background checked and we have vetted and we have trained our workers to where there is nothing happening that should not be happening. Children's safety, we do not mess around with that. But I think we need to be free with our affection to kids. Go around fist bumping, high fives, side hugs, appropriate touches. I know your church might have a policy on this. Personally, and maybe this is my small church showing, I disagree with the no hugging policy because sometimes they need it. So I had a girl who had a period of time where she was just really battling with extreme anxiety. We would be in the middle of class and I could see her face. She'd just kind of start rocking and I could see it on her face and she was having like a panic attack. And do you know what she would do? She would just run up to me with panic on her face and just hold me as tight as she could. And so I would kind of scoot her off to my side so that I could keep teaching because like I was the one that she wanted and she would just hug me and not let go. And I'm not going to let go first. She's needing this. So what if we had a policy that said I can't hug a kid? That little girl wouldn't have gotten what she needed. But we need to make sure that we're being safe. So if your church has a policy, either talk to the policymakers, change the policy. Maybe the policy's there for a reason. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just, my personal opinions is that I think kids need hugs. But we are paying attention. You know, we've had background checks and training and we are paying attention. We are, monitoring. We're not in a closed room, just one adult and a kid hugging because that's no. We are monitoring interactions with other adults. There's openness. We're looking for red flags. If, for an example, one adult is constantly initiating hugs with a child and they're lingering hugs and the child's trying to get away, that's going to be a red flag, right? We're going to step in. But I've taught many a time with kids on my hip, in my lap, right next to me. I had this one little girl, she would give the tightest hugs, and she would come and she would just squeeze me to where it would almost hurt. And I never let go first. This was a kid whose home life was difficult. And she needed every hug. And Miss Amber would look her in the eye and say, I love you and I'm so glad you're here. Kids need those. Smiles are free, safe touches, fist bumps, high fives. Let them know that you care. You should care. If you don't care, you need to not be at VBS and maybe rethink your involvement in children's ministry. We should love on these kids because it is an amazing calling that we get to do. We get to pour out Jesus's love on them, and that is reflected through our love on them. And I'm about to make myself cry because these kids need love. They need Jesus. And you get to be that for them. So hugs, high fives, fist bumps, smiles, all done safely with the proper policies, but they need that from you. Number 10, the last tip that I have for you today to make VBS your best yet. I mean, I could talk to you all sorts of practicals. I could tell you my favorite kind of tape for VBS, things I've learned over it, making it go smoother, all of this. I could do all that. But honestly, one of the most important things that you need to know about VBS, and if you keep this in mind as you are planning and executing your VBS, it will make it the best VBS ever. You don't know the impact you are having, but you need to be intentional and faithful to keep planting those seeds. You don't necessarily know if a kid is battling with the Holy Spirit or being called into the ministry or being called by the Father. You don't know what's going on in them. You might not see salvations. You might not see your church grow. You might not see any evidence that what you were doing mattered. But I promise you it does. We are not responsible for the harvest. That is God. We are called to be faithful to what God has called us to do. So we are to keep showing up to VBS, and we are to teach the truths of God's word, and we are to give them an amazing week where they feel so loved on by Jesus, and they are hearing the truth. They are hearing how to become a Christian. That is all. We are not responsible for the harvest. We plant the seeds and we leave it up to God. But I want you to know that what you're doing matters at VBS. If you are intentionally discipling during VBS, you are planting seeds. Keep doing that. Even if you never see a kid get saved because of VBS, even if you never see a single family come to you, join your church's VBS, or even visit your church after it, you are doing important kingdom work, and don't give up. What you're doing at VBS is so important, even if you don't see the fruit. I promise you, my friend. Take these tips as you're planning VBS, but really keep number 10 in mind. You're doing important kingdom work. You're planting seeds. Don't get discouraged if you don't see the harvest. God just wants us to be faithful to what he called us to do, and then we're leaving the rest up to him. Bathe your VBS in prayer. Know that God is in control. I hope, and I'm praying for your VBS, that it is the best VBS yet. If you have VBS questions, hey, reach out to me. I love talking VBS. It's my favorite week of the year. Remember, Kidmin leaders, what you're doing this year at VBS matters.